Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. And I'm going to be talking to TIYA Singh momentarily. I just want to kind of set this up. Tia and I met in this wonderful place where I meet so many people. We met on LinkedIn. And Tia and I then began our bond. Is our alma mater, Rutgers. And that bond and coming together on LinkedIn, we then began dialogue, and the dialogue then became a Zoom. We Zoomed, we chatted, we talked, we began, and then I began to learn about her journey. And it was, for me, it was a wow. Your journey to graduate magna cum laude from Rutgers University. And that journey and the things you've accomplished and what you're doing now. I said this has to become part of this podcast, this channel that I'm doing, and you were so agreeable to do this because you have a wonderful journey and story. So I'm done talking. Let me introduce you, and you can do a quick bio of yourself, and then we'll jump into some really interesting questions. Part of the headline also dyslexia, and that's a provocative headline for this video, in addition to being a future lawyer. So, Tia, welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is TIYA Singh. I graduated from Rutgers in 2020, May, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my journey with law, which I'm pursuing, and what I do right now. So yeah.
Okay, I had to adjust the sound. I don't have technicians. I have to do it all myself. So, I think the best question to start this off is, how did your journey to law begin?
Okay. Well, Calvin, to be honest, it was quite rocky at first. You see, I grew up in India where I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADD at 8 years old. I wasn't really able to read or write, but with special education classes and years of dedication from my parents and me, I was able to read my first book at age 13, which was a big accomplishment. A little late, but it was a really big deal for me. Um, from there, I grew a passion for reading and writing, and never imagined myself pursuing law, which is heavy in reading and writing. But it's what I like now. It's what I push myself to do, and it's what I'm doing.
Wow. I mean, that to come out of that to be where you're at, it's. By the way, this is stuff movies are made out of. That's a compliment to you. And in biopics and documentaries, this incredible odds and things that you overcame. So, you arrived at Rutgers University in your junior year. I'm always curious when I talk to so many Rutgers people. Can you talk about your experience at Rutgers, the community, the support, and the acceptance of diversity?
Sure, yes, I loved my experience at Rutgers. Studying was always a challenge for me growing up, but at Rutgers it was different. The diversity and the accepting environment, the professors who knew everyone's name, by the way, and even with 100 plus students, and the resources were unique. Like the writing center had professors and students as tutors, which really helped me with the writing curriculums and courses that I had to take. I think they were the reason that I graduated with honors, and it's always been a dream of mine. So happy that at Rutgers I was able to accomplish that.
Wow. So that just helped you blossom and flourish, that experience at Rutgers. Um, could you, is there something different about the quote education process that you got at Rutgers?
Sure. I've studied in India and America now, and I attended many schools. But Rutgers has been one of my best educational experiences. There's so many opportunities and resources to use. And during college, I remember waking up early in the morning just to be first in the line for the writing center. And that's how, my papers were always good because I had so much support. So, yeah.
I love that, the writing center. I've heard a lot about the writing center, as I talk to people, in the support that it has given. As you know, the more I do this and the more I interact, the more I learn about our alma mater. And this is not a Rutgers sponsored show. It just so happens that I wear Rutgers hat and you're Rutgers. Um, so the next uh, question, I always love to ask this: what made you want to pursue a career in law?
Well, Calvin, in high school, I took a business law class as an elective, and I honestly thought it would be an easy A, a GPA booster. But to my surprise, I struggled in that class. The class was about court systems and contracts. Even though I wasn't acing the class, I was so intrigued by how much I was learning, just about human behavior.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wanted to know more. And then when college started, I decided to major in criminal justice and just study more about all that I was struggling with.
Um, while you're at Rutgers and you do different kinds of things, work, did your work experience help solidify your wanting to become a lawyer?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
In high school, I applied and got an amazing internship at Greenberg Traurig. It's a global law firm where I shadowed partners and attended hearings and even participated in the prep process for depositions. Today, I have been a part of the Artworks Legal Incubator for several years in various capacities. In as a legal, I'm gonna restart that little sentence if that's okay.
That's right.
Okay.
But the artworks, which is what you're doing now, uh,
Yeah.
spend some time.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
got nervous.
we were talking about this before we went on air, uh,
Yeah.
and would love you to spend some time, because when I hear artworks, I kind of think of art, but you do so much work,
Mm-hmm.
artworks in the legal world, and people need to know what artworks is all about and the incubation. And
Mm-hmm.
so, talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. Okay.
Just take a deep breath, relax. Chronologically, we're in the middle of the holidays now, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a great time of year. So you just take a deep breath and relax. But I really would like to know more about.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good. I'm
Yes.
getting.
Okay.
Okay. Today, I'm part of the Artworks Legal Incubator program. For several years, I've been working in various capacities as a legal intern, paralegal, etc. Next month, I will assume an administrative coordinator role for the residency program. This program is for attorneys, very similar to a medical residency program for med
Huh.
students. The
Okay.
program is based out of New York City, and we give the participants resources to succeed in the ever-changing legal industry, which helps jumpstart their careers with all of the legal training they need, coupled with clinical experience gained. As a program coordinator, I assist the attorneys in training, as well as provide supervision for aspiring attorneys in our law student division.
Hmm.
Our course has helped so many businesses, small businesses, get the legal support they so desperately need. And I think it's a great program that everybody should look into if they're pursuing law, even as a law student, in undergrad, in law school, or if they're already an attorney.
Wow, what an amazing. How did you come to Artworks?
Well, I applied
Okay.
to become an intern, and it's a funny story actually. At the time, they weren't hiring undergrad students.
Uh-huh.
It was only for law students and attorneys, but I slipped through the cracks somehow. And the one who runs the program really liked me and decided to train me. And
Wonderful.
now we have an undergrad division as well for the program because they realized that even kids in or students in undergrad needed the support that ArtWorks provides. So
Okay. Hey, I think that's great. And when we're done, I'm gonna do more Googling. I need to know more about this. I think it's quite an amazing thing. So, um, what was your favorite course at Rutgers?
ooh, that's a hard one. But I have to go with Women and the Law. It was taught by Diane Riso. Um, the course was created by the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's one of my idols, and I had no idea that she did that and created the course and the curriculum. But once I got there and heard about that, I was shocked. I was able to, study
Hmm.
and learn the way Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you know,
What
thought it should be. Um,
exactly?
yeah.
We were talking before we went on air about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was a hero of mine,
Mhm.
uh, in part because most of her life, the meaningful part of her life, besides going to law school, but the meaningful part of her life began at Rutgers, and that to me is and she spent 9 years as a professor at Rutgers and developed that gender equality class, and taught it, and I believe it might have been the first of its kind in America.
Mm.
And I mention this. I always like to mention this, and I talk to such a wide variety of people in my new position here, and so many people. And one way or another, I always like to bring up Ruth Bader Ginsburg, uh, and I kind of remind people that she really got her start at Rutgers, and about 98% of them said, "You're kidding! I didn't know that."
Mm.
Although they just named a building the other day in Newark. It's a I think it's a 17-story building where there's a lot of residences,
Mhm.
uh, and actually the chancellor of Rutgers Newark, I think, lives on the top floor, Nancy Cantor. So, but they're naming it the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Hall, which is quite appropriate. So, um, in reading your bio, there's something there called Rescue Leftover Cuisine.
Mhm.
Can you tell me what that is?
Sure. Well, it's a nonprofit that hires staff and volunteers to pick up leftovers from New York restaurants. And then we deliver that leftover food to homeless shelters.
Wow,
So I was hired to be a lead rescuer.
wow.
And there were so many times that I would reach the shelter with my team on all the food, and there would be a huge line waiting outside for people to just, you know, people waiting for the food. This New York-based organization is now expanded to many states and is doing an amazing job. And they're always looking for volunteers and/or donations. So if anyone's interested, definitely look up Rescue Leftover Cuisine.
Okay. Which is it's a brilliant concept. one of the things I've done in my early journalism days, my career is only 10 years old, but the second major thing I did after homelessness,
Mm,
to do stories on homelessness, was to learn about hunger.
mhm,
And I spent a good deal of time in, again, I've only been a journalist 10 years, but to learn about hunger, and what I learned 10 years ago and what I continue to learn, it's kind of staggering.
mm,
Uh, um, Back in 1980, there were 45 food pantries in America. 45.
wow.
Today there are 45,000
Mm,
food pantries. So what happened from 1980 to today? And of course, the pandemic has accelerated issues of food insecurity
mm,
to the point where there are 50 million Americans who are food insecure.
mm,
And worldwide, there are about 3 billion people who can't afford the $3.85 a day it would take to feed them and their families. So
mm.
we've got 3 billion people in the world. So the work you're doing with, um, which I think is brilliant, to to reutilize leftovers and redistribute. I think it's a wonderful thing, and it's really needed. Um, the other thing about, as I looked at your bio and we talked,
Mhm.
and I think this is great. You kind of speak 5 languages.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and that's pretty exceptional. So talk about that.
Sure. Well, I'm bilingual in English and Hindi, Hindi being my mother tongue. But I've studied Spanish, German, and sign language. I love learning languages and being able to communicate with more and more people, you know. It's a great way to learn about new cultures and connect with a whole new set of people. So I'm always trying to learn and expand my vocabulary. Right now, I'm studying Spanish more so I can, you
Uh-huh.
know, talk more and more fluently to
Right.
people. Hmm.
That the 5 language deal, when you get that ESQ after your name and you're a lawyer, it just opens up so much more, I think, that you're able to do in cases, and it just opens up such a world to
Right.
communicate with 5 languages. It's wonderful. So as we kind of wind down this time together, uh, talk about your hobbies, stuff that you like to do.
Sure. Well, I got plenty to share. I run.
But
I love to create art. I golf whenever the grounds aren't covered in snow, which they are right now. I enjoy reading every day, from novels to world news. And I love to recreate dishes from restaurants I haven't eaten at, which is never as good as the original, but it's pretty fun
that's great.
experience. Yeah.
That's great. So, Tia, I have a couple of things I wanted to ask you as we wind down our time together officially.
Mhm.
Uh, I always like to ask these questions. They're kind of cerebral. So, um, putting on your thinking cap,
Mhm.
can you give me name 5 things in life you can't live without?
Hmm. That I can't live without. Well, I don't think I can live without my mother. That's kind of weird, but
No, it's
she,
not.
but I, I have a single mother, a single parent household, and she's done everything for me. That's how I've kind of gotten where I am. So definitely her. Another thing would be my cell phone, I guess, because it's literally a mini computer for me, and I can connect with people and get my work done. Third thing would be my fountain pen, because I am getting into calligraphy now, and I just cannot live without it anymore. It's just my favorite thing. My fourth thing would probably be my golf set because I love to golf. So I don't think I would like to not have that around. But fifth thing would probably be water because I don't drink coffee, tea, sodas, anything. So that's all I have. So I think I'll need that water.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I like those answers. I ask these questions often and interesting answers. Finally, the last,
Mhm.
and I have to unpack this. So, excluding family
Mhm.
or friends,
Mhm.
excluding uh, living or dead, who'd you like to spend the day with during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, ooh,
Yes. Living or dead, excluding family.
I'm blanking.
Well, you can blank. That's all right too. That's fine. I mean, you can go back into history if you want. It's kind of a,
Okay.
but you can pass on the question too. You're not getting graded here.
I have an answer. Okay. It's kind of a generic one, so I don't know if you want to keep this in. But I think I would like to spend time with Mahatma Gandhi. Not just because he's Indian, but
Uh,
because I have so many questions for him. His history is kind of just told by other people, and he's been under a lot of attack recently, and I totally understand where it's coming from, but I want to hear from his experiences why he did what he did and what he thinks about the things people are saying about him now. So yeah, Mahatma
Great
Gandhi.
answer. No, I watched that movie with Ben Kingsley. Gandhi.
Mhm.
I watch it once or twice a year whenever it's on. I just watch it. He's an amazing actor, and I forget I'm watching a movie. It's like to me, it's such a beautiful portrayal of such an amazing man, so devoted
Mhm.
to his people and to freedom. Um, anyway, um, hey, we've done our thing here. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
We did it, and I just want to thank you so much for your time and your spirit and your energy and your willingness to give back, because I think your story is a great story. So, Tia, I just want to thank you so much. And I only wish you good things. And of course, we're going to stay in contact and all. And I'm here and you're there, and we'll stay in contact. And one day we'll grab a cup of coffee on campus.
Right.
Perfect. So you be well and only good things to you. And we're going to sign off.
Thank you so much, Calvin.
Okay. Thanks, Tia.